Hello, this is Karanja James again. Thank you for creating time. Time is very precious than money. So yesterday we covered about how to qualify a client to make sure that he or she buys. And we said the reason why you are qualifying a client is to make sure that the tension that builds up before a person makes a decision is always there, but you are there as a salesperson to make sure that you remove that tension. You remove that sale resistance. So the reason why you are doing this is not because you want to make this person to make a bad decision. You are there to make sure that this person, either your client or your customer or the prospect, makes the right decision. What is the right decision? To make sure that he is able to solve his problems. Here you are solving someone's problems. If you are doing this for a malicious thing, evil thing, make sure that you don't do this. Make sure you are closing your clients on merit to solve their problems. We are solvers of their problems, and that's why we are here. Everybody is solving someone's problems, and after solving the problems, he gets the profit home. So when you're doing this, when you've qualified your customer, when your products are good, when everything is good, now it's time to talk to customers. Let's say you have already given a good presentation, and I said yesterday 50% of the sales that come to your business will be always done through presentation. So if you have a good product and you have a very good presentation, 50% of the sales that are going to come from that presentation or from that advert or from anything that you have put before people who have the problem, will come through presentation. So you have to make sure that the presentation you have is precise, is direct to the point, and resonates and is able to solve the problems of other people. So after doing that, we are going now to deal with this 50% that are maybe have had a bad experience, have had a negative experience. Maybe these people, the 50%, are destroyed, are maybe having choices. Nowadays you have to choose. If you're in the market of selling phones, you have to choose either an iPhone, either a Huawei, either an Oppo. There's a person who has the money, who wants to solve his problem using maybe buying a new phone. Maybe the phone he has some problem, and he's there having the money, wanting to buy the product, willing, is able, but he's not able to make the decision. He's not able to make a decision because maybe he has a previous encounterment of someone maybe who was defrauded the phone. So you are there to make sure that you are able to remove this tension from that person, and you are able to sell to this person. So when a person is presented well, when a person is having the money, he's able, you have qualified. So 50% of those people have the fear, they are not able to make the sales decision, which is the right decision to buy something that is going to use them. You are there to close them. So if you have had you have listened to sales talks, you have had people talking about closing customers. Closing customers is making sure they make the right decision to solve a problem. And the reason we are doing this is because you want them to get the best of their life, to get the best of their business, and to make sure that they have profit that they need. So this is what we do when you're closing. Today I'm going to tackle the closing method number 1. This method is used by very many people to make very good returns on their business. And the closing technique I'm going to use is, I'm going to elaborate, is appointment close. Appointment close. So you are there. The reason why I think this is the best closing technique that you are going to get there, because if you're in sales business, if you are selling real estate, the person has to see. The person has to see. And when you're doing closing, number 1, there are do's and don'ts. Do's and don'ts before you do closing. Number 1, don't you ever argue about price of the product you're selling. The reason being, you will not win that war with the customer. So don't let the price come in between you and the client, you and your customer, because that war you're not going to win. That war you're not going to win. So don't let the price become a thing between you and the person you're selling to. If you are doing a presentation and the customer keep asking, how does this cost? Tell him, my friend John, that's a very good question. I'm going to come at that point at you, but I want to first give you the value of investment. I like using the word the value of investment first, because when you give value, people buy. That's number one. Don't argue with a customer, and don't let the customer control you with questions. You are the one who is in charge of a sale. So you are the one to make sure you are asking the closing questions. You know, the closing question. There are questions that we call the closing question. You are the one to ask the question, because when the customer designs the question is going to ask you, and maybe you don't have the full information of everything about the product, he's going to corner you, and maybe you are doing presentation in front of other people. So make sure you are in charge of this conversation, of this sales process, of this presentation. So if a customer asks you, how does this product cost? Tell him, Mr. John, that's a very good question, but kindly, can I handle it at last, because it's the best part of it. I want you to have the best part of this presentation at last. So let me first give you the value of investment, the value of what you're getting, the problem that you're solving here. Make sure you're in charge of that close. Number two, you must become a very good storyteller. You must become a very good, I cannot emphasize on this. If you are becoming a good storyteller, you are becoming a very good communication. So if there is a breakdown of communication, don't bring your anger, don't bring your feelings, don't argue with the client. Make sure you have very good communication. And when you have this communication, you're going to give stories that will resonate. It's said in business, facts tell. I hope you get this right. Facts tells, stories sells. So if you want to sell, make sure you focus on stories, and you have to become authentic. You have to create your own story, a story that if it's not real, it's next to reality. Hope you understand this. This is a must do for a salesperson. Selling is about stories. So you have to give facts. If you're selling about this phone, you have to give facts. It's 8 GB ROM, maybe 64 GB. You have to give the facts. But remember, you must give stories, because facts tells, stories tells. So you must become a master communicator of the product. Make sure you focus on the product, but make sure you are good in storytelling. Come up with your own story, own your own story, authenticate your own story, your previous story, something that you have ever had. Make sure you are able to close this customer. The other thing you must do is you must be in charge of this sale. Don't let the client take the wheel to drive you. You are the person who knows everything about the product. So that's why information is power. Information is key. And you have to direct the customer where you want them to direct. So if the customer is always asking irrelevant question in front of other customers, that customer is always bringing the sales process down, and he might even close you. So I usually say, in any engagement where there is selling and buying, one person must sell to the other person. So I might come to you selling this phone, and maybe I'm able to close you to buy this phone. But if there is negativity in you, you are going to sell to me the reason why you don't want to afford this product. So in a sale engagement, one person must be sold. I'm selling you this product. If you cannot buy this product, you are going to sell me the reason why you cannot buy this phone. A sale is made in any way. So make sure you are able to control. Make sure you are able to control this sale, and you are going to make it good. Solve that problem. Make sure you are in charge of that sale. Ask those questions. The other thing you must do is you have to understand where the customer lies. You must be a master learner. When you're talking to a customer, you must qualify the customer to know if the customer is good in what is saying about. You must qualify. You must make sure that you are able to learn the customer. You have to understand, can this person really buy? The reason why you have to understand this question, this thing, you must ask the sales question. You must gauge. You must know if your customer is good, is hot, cold, or warm. You know, if you have done very good presentation, you are able to tell your stories, then the customer is warm. If the customer tells you that I'm fed up, I'm okay, I'm with you with everything, I can afford this product, let's go and do this deal, the customer is hot. You must make sure you understand that you must be in control of the sale, and you can always judge where the customer is. So when you learn the customer, how the customer is thinking, you're able to tell where the customer is. So if you ask the selling questions, I'm going to have those selling questions in this platform. If you're asking the real selling question, you're able to gauge where the customer is low, mid, or high, or above. So you are able to gauge these customers. You are able to filter the question you are going to ask, and from those questions, the answers you get, you are going to make sure that the customer is able to buy right now, is able to buy next week, because there's a customer who's going to tell you, you know, for the last 6 months I've been looking for a property to buy, and I have a loan that is qualified for the next 6 months. So you understand this customer is in the market to buy the product, but not that right moment. So don't waste much of your time with the client who will buy next month or who is buying next year. So make sure you're able to close that customer at that time. Make sure you have this sales question with you, learn the customer, qualify the customer, and know where the client lies. The other thing, you have to be positive and value. If you tell the facts, make sure you are able to point, you are able to hammer your points on value and stories. Value and stories. Value and stories. From that, you are going to judge if the customer is able to buy today, tomorrow, or next month. It's going to give you an ample time. And the other thing I have to say is, don't talk too much. Don't talk too much. Most of the customers that you're going to get, the best customers are those people who have things they are going in their life. So the business the customer is, the more the customer is able to buy what you are selling. So make sure you don't waste time. The more you talk, the more answers you're going to give this customer. So make sure you're precise, to the point, and after a sales is done, you have done the presentation, you have tried to qualify, you have had the questions, make sure the only thing that you can force a customer is called the silence pressure. So after you have done everything, you have closed this customer, the customer is warm or is hot, you have to ask one question and you get the shut up. You get to keep quiet. Mr. John, I've seen that you are able to buy this product. You are ready to have this thing done today. Can we go and process the car right now? Then keep quiet. And it said, after this question, whoever speaks first loses. So if you tell this customer, you know, I'm selling you this car can do this specification, someone drives it, you give a story about it, someone drove it, and maybe he did this and that, then you ask the customer the final closing question. Mr. Eric, can we go and process this car right now? Then you keep quiet. The 2 seconds is it's the only thing that you can pressure a customer to do, because there is things that are going in his mind, there is the tension that's drawing out of his body, and most of the customers are going to tell you, yes, let's go and process this thing. That's the only thing that you can force a customer, and it's called the pressure of the silence. And make sure you don't speak fast, because the person who speaks fast loses. So when you ask that question, the silence, the reason why you do this, a customer might be having the money in the bank and he has used 10 years to correct that money. So when he's losing that money, he has the tension, he has the fear, he has the sales resistance. When you ask that question, then his ability, his decision making raises up and he's going to buy the product. So make sure you are able to articulate this, become good in this, become a very good communicator, know how to read your customer, and don't argue with the customer. For more information, there are more videos about anything sales in this channel, in this platform. Make sure you watch the other videos. Peace, I'm out.